to The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the news, views, reviews, and interviews. And the news this week, not really a whole lot at the moment, as I've been away for a couple of sessions with The Force Always due to some movie reviews. Really, Ahsoka, the live action TV series, which is coming to Disney Plus sometime in 2026. At the moment, is just having a lot of set leaks and sort of leaks of set designs. That's pretty much it. That's Ahsoka. That's a live action series coming to Disney Plus in 2026. It's probably a higher anticipated film at the moment amongst Star Wars fans, even though the first one was mixed reviews, probably lended itself a bit more towards the negative in reaction from a number of people. But anyway, that's one bit of news. The other bit of news is Starfighter is continuing to film. Starfighter is the new film, the epic new Star Wars film that's coming out in 2027. I've said many of a time that I think it's going to be episode 10, as the story is set 5 years after the rise of Skywalker, which is episode 9, and also that Star Wars Celebration is about a month before the release of Starfighter at this stage, and that suggests to me they're going to announce, everybody, this is episode 10. That's just my opinion. But there's no set leaks with Starfighter at the moment. There's no extra photos that we got, the 2 photos so far. But that's pretty much the news. There's not a whole lot of news this time around. But anyway, let's now get into views. Views is my story idea that I like to see fruition, or like to possibly ever create myself in Star Wars. How would that be possible? I don't know. But anyway, so my basic story idea, and this is also just to let you know, I accept the story for what it is. Star Wars, the way it has been written and looks and stuff like that. Yes, there's cringe points. Yes, there's bad points. Yes, there's good points. But I accept the story for what it is, and I'm moving forward with the story. But what I think the next episode for Star Wars, or even Star Wars, needs to really entail in its stories, is that it needs to have a sort of almost the feel or the knowledge of how Star Wars has been torn apart at the moment by with a toxic reactions, whether it's from fans, whether it's from critics, whether it's from professionals, whether it's from just regular people. I just think the whole story of reality in our life as we know it to be pushed into a Star Wars film, the story idea, not looks of Empire State buildings in the film, or just monuments that are recognizable from planet Earth, but just the whole story that Star Wars become, really divisive at the moment, and I think that there would be create a really good premise or something, a part of a story. I'd love to see that. I mean, it would just assist and create a whole lot of great ideas to people, because I do believe Star Wars at its highest peak is a psychological drama. It is great with the psychology. Anyway, so that is my story idea, just sort of having reality. And just also just a fun fact, Earth is a recognized planet in the Star Wars planet solar system, if you were to call it solar system, in the universe. Sorry, I should say universe. Earth is actually a recognized planet in the canon, or the official planets of Star Wars. It's a recognized planet, never been seen, but just a bit of food for thought there. Not to suggest anything, just food for thought. But anyway, that's one fun fact. Anyway, let's now get into reviews. Reviews this time around is going to be something very, very interesting. I've got a big DVD collection, big video collection, big or whatever collection is you see back here, or the types of different types of stuff. Not just Star Wars, but mainly Star Wars. This here is a DVD. It's probably the weirdest, funniest DVD you'll have. This is actually a whole lot of thumbs as characters in Star Wars, and it's called Thumb Wars. Now, it is a bit of a seriously childish spoof type film. I wouldn't say it's the best film out there, but it's definitely sort of funny to see a whole lot of thumbs rocking on as a story, as a movie. Thumb Wars. And it never really eventuated besides the Phantom Cuticle, it's saying. The Thumb Wars, I've probably seen this a couple of times, that's it. It's something unique to have. I hold it as a prized possession because it's unique, but it's not a great, thing for Star Wars. Not like it's the worst thing, but it's basically, like, I'll give this whole thing a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay, but it's something unique to have. Thumb Wars DVD. It's not even a Blu-ray, it's a DVD. That's how old it is, but I just thought this is something to collect that was sort of unique, I thought, at the time, and still is. There it is, my review for this time around. Thumb Wars. Probably not coming to a cinema near you. Anyway, now let's get interviews. Interviews at the moment usually is our friend Michael from Werribee South. I give him a bit of heat. It's a bit of comedy heat. But he loves to ask questions, and he's got... this week I went to a couple of movies. I saw The Travellers, which is an Australian film. I gave that a sort of reaction review. And I saw Tron Ares, a reaction type review as well. So this is actually a comment from what he gave when I put out that particular episode, The Travellers movie review. If you want to see that, go check it out. It's on this channel, The Force Always. And just while I'm at it, you can like, share, subscribe to the channel at any time. Anyway, so the questions, let me just get these questions. So, regarding The Travellers, the Australian film, did you learn anything from this movie? It's a big question. It's a part by part question. So I'll answer the first part. Did you learn anything about this movie? You don't really learn a lot about in this movie besides things that we already know, accepting things in life that are just different. And I suppose the part that I'm talking about is that he's Brian Brown, who plays the dad, was sort of not so accepting of his son's career in a set designer for theatre productions. It was a little bit, not so cool for a man to do. The sort of feel of what was sort of being, conveyed from an older generation person to a younger generation. You sort of learn that, to accept things for what they, if that's what your son wants to do or your daughter wants to do. For me, it's not an issue. But did you learn anything? Yeah, acceptance of things that you don't really accept. That's one part of the movie you could sort of look at in learning from. What is the central message or theme of the film? I don't know officially what the central message they're trying to convey, but I would say growth in like levels of age and how people are. It's sort of a life meaning sort of type film. So I think there's just all about the stages of growth, just set in a basic story in Australia, which is not the country like desert country, but more bush type country area. Growth in life, Was there anything about the film you didn't understand? Well, that type of question is, what the actual message and all the details to what the writer and or director is trying to convey is always best asked them directly. There's lots of things that in lots of films that we don't get first off. Even 20 times down the track, we don't get. But it's actually there from the beginning. Just it's a fun way of getting to know things down the track. I think I suppose one of the classic lines, like in Empire Strikes Back, when Yoda said, "Do or do not, there is no try." Like, it was such a riddle. What the hell is that? But if you really think about that comment, it's such a game changer in how you take on life. Like, it was sort of gotten at the start, but for the younger generation like myself, well, what the hell is that? It was just a cool comment. It's sort of do or do not. There is no try. It's all about it. To me, that's sort of saying, action requires now. And you don't go out there to just try, just do it rather than half put yourself out there. But anyway, that was from The Empire Strikes Back. In this particular film, there's a lot to look. I did ask the director in this particular film. He was there at the advanced screening. I said, would you add anything to the film? And he pretty much said he only watches his films once, probably as a complete product. I mean, through the editing process, you go through time and time again. But he only watches it once, so really he would not know what to add or what to take out. But he did say, yeah, there's obviously things he'd redo and not redo and things like that. So there's always things to add and subtract on any film or any art piece in the whole world, let me tell you. And what did you like and dislike about the film? Well, I disliked. Look, I not disliked, but I thought there was a couple of scenes he could have added, a bit more of a lead up to Brian Brown going into a nursing home. That's a bit of a just a bit of a part of the story. Just a bit more of a lead up I would have added, and I would have added a bit more of a lead up to the very last sort of scene type of thing, which is going to a theatre production, seeing what it's all about, but a bit more of a lead up. The director did say he had a limited time to, film a production. That was not. It was a created production out there that he just asked to be used in the film, and he only had a certain amount of time. I think it was 4 minutes he could only film, but I think a lead up going to the film would have sort of having people anticipate what the hell is this, what's going on, just to create a sort of like what's going to happen here, how people are going to react. That's what I would have done. I disliked it. It didn't have those two things. What I liked about it, it's just a simple film, and I really did like Brian Brown's performance. He really did encapsulate the whole older person transitioning from being an older person into a nursing home part of life. His mannerisms, the way he said his stuff was great. That's what I liked in the film of The Travelers. And you can check out, again, that review. It's on my channel. It's only about 2-3 episodes ago. Now, let's go back. I'm just going to try and do this in the best way possible. Go back. And then I'll go to the Tron. And then I'll look at the... So, in my Tron video, again, Tron Ares review, it's on the channel. Check it out if you like. Michael from Werby South once again has asked some questions. Will there be a connection between the original films and Tron Ares? Well, there is a connection that it's Tron. I'm not that masterful with Tron itself, but I didn't find, besides the ideals of what Tron is about, which is it's pretty much a game with programs dealing with issues, is what I took from the connection between Tron Ares and the original film that was done in the 80s. The last one, which was Tron Legacy, which was about 10, 15 years ago, there's always that sort of same sort of feel to Tron. The next question from Michael from Wherever South said, what is the message of Tron? Well, I think in this particular movie, I won't say the whole what Tron is about because I'm not a big Tron super fan, but in this particular one was the one of the programs which was the main actor. I can't remember Jared Leto. He was drawn into becoming real. He wanted to. He wanted feelings rather than being a program. He was just wanting reality for himself to be about feelings and real life rather than just being this robotic program. So in this particular one, it's the coming of age in that, which is sort of a bit of a spoiler. And then the final question: is Tron Ares a prequel or sequel, and does it feature established characters? It does have one particular feature character, and he's the old guy with the beard. I can't remember. He's a legendary actor, my goodness. He's been in all the three films. He is a legendary actor, but is it a prequel or sequel? I actually don't officially know. I just took the story for what it was. It was just pretty much a person trying to use the Tron sort of landscape in creating a new super army, having, things be more efficient to, battle in this sort of form, which sounds a really out there sort of thought, but, it used the AI sort of feel, which is sort of starting to come through with life in bad ways and good ways. But yeah, is it a prequel or sequel? I don't know. I just took the story for what it was. It was set in a modern sort of setting, so I'd say it is of the now, and is good. There was a good ideal to its meaning. I just think the story in this instance was a bit slow and lethargic and a bit too more about the Tron rather than the emotional part of a story. It just really pushed the ideals of what Tron is, which is great, but I just think the meaning of life was a bit lost in a lot of this slow, lethargic dialogue in it, which is not a put down, it's just the way it is. There is, fast-paced points in it, but yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, so that is the episode this time around. Bit of a later episode in this week. I will be back ASAP. And until next time, my friends, with my crazy hairdo, look at that. It's the dew of the morning. May the force be with you and keep rocking.